President Bola Ahmed Tinubu told a delegation from Deloitte Africa on Wednesday that Nigeria's economy is beginning to turn the corner, crediting fuel subsidy removal, foreign exchange reforms, and stronger public finances for stabilizing the economy and restoring investor confidence.
The effect of the reform, yes, in some instances are difficult to take, like medication, but it's working well. For the economy, Nigeria is making serious foundational progress. We have very trainable, dynamic population of youths, very brilliant, ready to be trained and require the Deloitte investment.
Right, Rufai, this has generated significant reactions. I mean, the presidency argues the reforms were necessary to reset a broken system. But for millions of Nigerians, the bigger question remains, when do these macroeconomic gains translate into cheaper food, lower transport costs, and better living standards? And I'll take one reaction before I come to you, Rufai. This is from Bims, who wrote on X: the best measure of economic reforms isn't what leaders say, it's what citizens experience. I mean, that really is what it is. You wanted to respond.
Yes, you said it all. C'est fini là-bas.
Right.
It's what citizens feel. You see, the problem with the reforms is the fact that there's been lack of transparency and truth in the process. Oji, President Tinubu announced subsidy gone in 2023. Do you know that he continued paying subsidy despite telling Nigerians that the reason why they announced subsidy gone was because it was not in the budget? NMPC record shows that 7.1 trillion was paid in subsidy. Do you know what they did, Oji? They hide the name. They didn't call it subsidy. You know what they called it? Energy security expenses. You see this level of lack of transparency. Energy security expenses. It was just like when Buhari government came in. You know, Buhari said something was a scam, it didn't exist and everything. When he's also started playing subsidy, you know what he called it? Under recovery. So it is this lack of transparency that kills this country. And Ayo, I get your points. I don't want people to suffer. I play in that space. I do a lot of advocacy for people. But Ayo, we need to jolt our leaders. Ayo, what happened to this country? We are seeing the likes of the Machimogu. We have seen the likes of Malami, forfeiture and everything. We need to jolt our country back. Ayo, I cry for Nigeria this morning. Let me read something to you. Why I'm crying, why I scream sometimes for this country. On the 23rd of December, 1974, Nigeria signed a long-term borrowing agreement with the World Bank. Under this agreement, Nigeria provided $240 million in net resources to the World Bank reserves. Ayo, we're borrowing World Bank money.
We were lending.
We're lending World Bank money to do development projects for other country. In 1975, we also lent 120 million to the IMF. This country was not depending on aid in the 70s. I feel like crying this morning. What has happened to this country? Because people are looting the country dry. The same country that was lending World Bank money to $40 million in the 70s. In that same 70s, do you know that Britain was going to the World Bank to loan money because they had an economic crisis? That time we were lending them money.
What would you do in the first 2 years of your second term?
Do more work. More challenges are there. The world won't wait for anybody. You have to continue to reset and rethink, challenge the intellectual curiosity of you as a government. The philosophy I came with in governance is believing that the hallmark of a transformative leader is the ability to take decisions, do what you do at the time it ought to be done on behalf of the people. If you miss that curve, you are not on the path to success. And that's what I believe. First time, took hard decisions regardless of pain. stopped reading newspapers and commentary because I knew I was going to get a big pushback, and I did. I was sitting on a hot burner. But we made the curve. Today there's a very bright light at the end of the tunnel. The economy is stable, the naira is stable, predictable. Planners can do reasonable budget. They can plan their lives well. The children are in school. The vulnerables are being helped. We have a direct transfer to very poor households right now going on, are able to support education for those students ordinarily who stay out of school because their parents cannot afford school fees. They are now, I'm even giving them allowances and upkeeps for their school.
Fantastic.